on, let them say ya. Come on, let them say ya. That in my business, you catching fever. Getting serious like empty river. Ain't no stopping by the river. And as we coming, we sweeping, we cutting, we moving all the way. Yeah. We coming, yeah. We better start be coming. As we coming, we sweeping, we coming. And then when we meet obstacles, we better start be coming. Yeah, you come man, yeah. We coming. We better start be coming. When the year is been checking you again, cause we coming. We better start be coming. We coming. We better start.
It's a happy good evening from my end to all of our viewers, and I'd like to say welcome to another brand new edition of the program, The Bottom Line. This program comes your way every Tuesday, and we normally come every Tuesday and Friday, but for now, we're making technical adjustments, and that will affect the days. And so for now, we've dropped Friday. And so we're coming your way every Tuesday as of now. And you can follow us both on YouTube, Facebook, and even on our online radio station. And the handle is The Bottom Line. My name is Linford Goa, and tonight I hope that I'm going to be joined by Mr. Paul Chulupe, my co-host from the UK, and also Madam Alaric Tokpa. She's based there in Belgium. And so let's say welcome to all of you. If you're just joining us for the very first time, this is where you belong. This is where we give you the information. We provide you the in-depth analysis of issues affecting Liberia. And tonight, we should be having a guest on the show. And the name of that guest is a household name in Liberia, politically, so to speak. And hopefully he will be joining us. And so let's hope that our guest will come. We will announce the name of the guest very soon as we go on in the program. And so take your seat, share the video, invite your friends to join us, and let's all have meaningful discussions on the Bottom Line. Again, my name is Linford Goa. I'm awaiting my co-host, Paul Chulupe, and also, if possible, Madam Alaric Tokpa will be joining us later on during the course of the program. And, of course, the biggest one, our guest, Mr. Professor Alaric Tokpa. And I believe that this name is a household name when it comes to politics in Liberia. And so he's going to be our guest tonight if time permits, or if conditions in Liberia permits, because, the thing is internet connectivity and all these things are yet to be solved in Liberia. And so he may be just struggling to get on. But the Prof has given us his word that he's going to be our guest tonight. And so let's sit back and have some interesting discussions on the Bottom Line. And tonight, we just before we get the ball rolling, we like to give you an announcement that the But whatever the case is, let's say welcome back. And we understand the political leader of the ANC, Mr. Alexander Cummings, will be visiting Germany, Liberia. He's not just visiting the country Germany, so to speak, but he's going to be visiting ANC supporters in Europe, as well as sympathizers. And that program will be held in Germany, the city of Hanover in Germany. And that's going to start from the 8th of July to the 9th. And on the 10th, people will be taking their exits. So if you live anywhere in Europe, you can hook on the bus, you can hook on the train, you can drive, take a long drive, and come to Hanover and enjoy the summer. And so that's it. But as we go on further in the program, Mr. Tokpa, who is the ANC regional coordinator in Europe, will be throwing light on that program. And as we promised a few days ago, we're going to have the planning committee, members of the planning committee for this program to be with us live here. And so they're going to tell us more about what people expect to happen in Germany. So to kick off the show tonight, let me just start by, first of all, welcoming you once again and urge you to share the video for us. Invite your friends, and you can follow us both on YouTube and our Facebook page. That is the Bottom Liberia. Okay, we all may have, be following the political developments in Liberia of late. And one of the biggest things that have been happening politically in Liberia is the road to 2023 is getting rougher and rougher. All the bombs are becoming visible. All of the ditches are becoming deeper. The mountains are getting higher. The rivers are getting deeper in water. But the people who are determined, strong enough, very perseverant, will be the ones to cross to the final line. That is 2023, and to participate in the elections. And having said that, one of the bombs, the stumbling blocks, and the deepest rivers on this way for one of the participants, or one of the wannabes, Mr. Alexander B. Cummings, is that he's currently facing criminal charges in the court, where he's been accused by members of his own coalition parties of forgery. In this case, from the onset, it was like it was going to last for a couple of days because the momentum was high. The government prosecutors who are handling this case on behalf of the government, remember that it is of criminal charges, so the government has to be involved. And so they made a case to appear from the onset that this was a speedy trial and it's going to be done with, and probably by now Mr. Cummings would have been found guilty, and maybe, I don't know, whichever punitive actions would have been taken by now. But until then, 5 months, fast forward, 5 months have gone. In this case, still lingers around. I mean, there has been no substantial evidence that the prosecutors can come forward with. And so they've been doing this delay, what everybody seems to call delay tactics, from one complication to another complication. At a certain time, they will ask Mr. Cummings to produce evidence that they claim he has, when they, the complainant, do not have that evidence. Because I don't understand. If I go and accuse John Brown of stealing my beautiful shirt that I'm wearing, I must be able to produce facts. Okay, this is the shirt that he stole, or this is my picture with the shirt on me before, and everybody knows that I've been wearing this shirt before. And so Mr. Brown stole my shirt. Okay, I do not have any evidence, but I will accuse John Brown and say, well, you ask John Brown. I say he stole my shirt, well, you're asking to bring the shirt. Okay, so how does the court, in the first place, how does the court know that the evidence that John Brown will produce is a particular shirt for that he has been sued for, because the court doesn't know. So you carry a complaint to the court. You say somebody did something. Carry evidence. Say this is what the man did. Okay. And in the case of the CPP, in the case of the CPP document, this document, they all claim they have. And so if you have a copy of this document and you know that the other copy that was left with Mr. Cummings, something happened to it, you carry your own and say, this is mine. And so I'm accusing Mr. Cummings of changing this part. So look at my own part and look at the part that he filed to neck. But something that has not happened. So the confusion continues. And then, like I said, people consider that as what? As, waste of time, delay tactics. So to drag Mr. Cummings along the road so that this already bumpy road to 2023 will become even bumpier, even more rougher for him. And yesterday, there was a new development in the case where a prime witness, we call him prime witness because, number one, his status in society, he's been former vice president of Liberia. Two, he was a member of the CPP, in so to speak, the largest political party that entered the CPP. Okay, and so he's prominent politically. He's prominent, and so the whole nation has been waiting for his testimony. And so, but first, before I go into that, or before we go into that, let me just welcome Mr. Paul Chilupe. Paul, welcome. Good evening.
Oh, good evening, Levo. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. And by the way, I'm very happy today because today is Norway's National Day, what we call National Day, or the day the Constitution was adopted and quote unquote Freedom Day, or so. Something we call in Liberia like Independence Day. I think this is it for Norway every March 17th. So we've been parading today. We've been everywhere and having fun. So we're happy. We're happy to see this day.
Great.
And the weather, this is the first time I've seen in May that we have this kind of weather in May. I mean, yesterday and today, the sky was clear. Not one trace of cloud, not one. And the sun was pure white. And the same thing today. Everybody, this is strange. So I don't know how you say at your end.
Well, it been very, very, very good here. I'll tell you, today was one of those days. It was, I think, 26 or 27 degrees. The temperature was lunchtime. I actually sitting outside enjoying the sunshine, man. And I felt like I was in Liberia today. So yeah, it's been good here. So
well, that's a good improvement. But we were just discussing the political developments in Liberia yesterday. That was the 16th of May 2022. Ambassador Joseph Numa Walker, former vice president of Liberia and head of the UP, testified against Mr. Cummings. I don't know if by any chance you have any idea of some of the things he said in court. I mean, even though of course the testimonies or the case itself is not televised, so every information we get and play around normally come from the informations that we get come from either the lawyers when they interview them, and sometimes they are very tight-lipped from both sides, from government side and from the defendant side. But besides that, there are journalists, correspondents in there, and when they come out, they make their analysis of what they saw or what they heard in the court, and that's what we play with. But I don't know if by any chance you heard any, or have you heard any excerpts or some little tips from the court? What did the ambassador testify? What did he say? What are some of the things you heard in the briefs?
I don't know where to start from. Firstly, it's a difficult situation for the former vice president. You see, if a group of people come together and craft a document, that document that they put together to lie or say somebody changed something and you cannot provide what it changed, it becomes difficult. So you have to be a very good seasonal lawyer or liar to go in there to say, no, this is from yesterday. He admitted that he signed a framework document to start with from the transcript of the court. Right. And every time the defense lawyer ask question, the solicitor general object it, and it seems that the government judge too will agree with the solicitor general. So it's like the tic-tac. So I don't think they want to find the truth answer to what is happening. But as much as he admitted, so today in court, the defense lawyer have asked up to 36 questions, and only 6 of those questions were answered. So every time they ask question, it's been adjusted by the prosecutor. So I don't know what Mr. Cummings have been saying from the day one, that this is a government against him and the opposition against him. So the case is going nowhere. It's just a political cycle that it's in. It's like we're in a theater in Liberia, and that's what's happening. It's just embarrassing to the country that some document said, people say, well, author, and up to now in the 6 months they can't show where we author. It's just a shame. Yeah, and the vice president last said that he never met Cummings before. He didn't know Cummings until the CPP came together. So it just shows you how the deception in this old man is not truthful to himself. So the whole thing is about credibility. If he can lie somebody that he knew over 40 years to say he does not know the person, what does that tell you about this case? This is
and you just struck a very good point, because for the former vice president to say he doesn't know Mr. Cummings from anywhere before the coming together of the CPP, and I was watching somewhere on Facebook and I saw this video where he was speaking, and he clearly admitted that he and Mr. Cummings have been friends for a long time. Okay, and he even asked, "Is Ellis here?" Okay, Ellis, and so are you really saying, Paul, that this vice president said he doesn't know Cummings from anywhere? Did he really say this?
He said that because the lawyers were trying to ask him that it was a strategic question. Do you know the accused witness? Yes. How? I met him when we came together as a political collaboration. So that means because the question that we're going to follow, it was based on credibility. If you say yes, that you knew this man, then the lawyer will ask, since you knew him over 50 years or 40 years or 20 years, have he ever committed any crime? He didn't want, so he lied, say he does not know Mr. Cummings. But the same man also, Mr. Cummings served on his, he got a foundation, right? And Mr. Cummings he approached Mr. Cummings years ago to serve on that board of his foundation. And it was the same man and Ellen that after the Ebola crisis, with all the work Mr. Cummings did on the ground there, they gave him the nation's highest honor. So this man you don't know. And he was in Atlanta. He had some function many years ago. He met Mr. Cummings. That's what that the video clip you're referring to there. So if you don't know this person, so that alone, it is a lie. He knew him They went to the same school, although he's 10 years. He was 10 years, I think 10 years older than Mr. Cummings. Or no, 10 years gap in our schooling. But he worked in our school when Cummings was going to that school. So the history go way back. And Mr. Cummings always said he knew Omer Barker for over 40 years. So deny him, I think that speaks volume on the former vice president.
And so, do you think the defendant or the defense team can capitalize on this lie? Because if the defense team will produce like this particular clip of video clip that we're talking about, where the former VP admitted that he knows coming, they are long-term ally. Okay, if the defense team can lay hands on that and prove a case that this man is lying under oath, do you think it can affect him or his testimony in the court?
Well, if it's a normal court, yes, it will affect him. But in Liberia, what's going on is political persecution. So it's not normal. Because if it's normal, the case should have been through a long time from day one.
So see, so it seems we just going in circle, and when it's like you get one old car tire, a puncture one day, you see the hole, you pass it, then when you go a puncture again, you pass your other tube, and you continue. So do we see any end to this crisis or this case? Because I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Well,
what do we expect?
I think what's going to happen here, the only time this nonsense come to an end, remember Mr. Cummings have brought in international lawyers to do a forensic on the document that they're talking about. I think from those people finding whatever outcome, whatever decision they come up with, I think that will determine the end of this city Booker case that is happening. Because the government seems to be happy the way it's going. The opposition who now collaborates with the government are very happy to see this going. So the only way is international person, look, we went through this case and we found nothing on this. That's the only time this nonsense will stop. Or alternatively, when the people now realize that the case going nowhere and the nation decide to tell the government to put the stop to the nonsense, that would be another means of stopping. Because there's nothing in it. Forgery is just document.
How does the nation do that? I mean,
well,
through protest or?
Well, the nation have the right to speak to their lawmakers that, look, we fed up with the nonsense. And remember, this is what I keep going back, say, look, this government remind me of 1980 government, the way they're proceeding. And we have to be mindful in Liberia. Because what they're doing, things say is okay, and they're dragging somebody into the mud. And the bad actors that with them, remember Omer Barker said on Samuel Doe. Remember this. So the bad actors they all together in this. So if you look at it, the key players here, some of them, they sitting now quiet, you don't hear about them. Imaya Shaw, who is one of the principal advisors to George Weah, he served as advisor on Odo. And he's in the background. He does not talk. He traveled with Weah every time Weah leave the country. He's the first to enter the plane, the last to leave the plane. So this reminds me of 1980 government. There's no string. And the people need to wake up. If people don't wake up to this, I got a fear for my beloved country. I keep seeing this. This is not democracy. It's complete nonsense.
And you are not alone in giving this caveat to the government. We actually expecting Professor Alaric Tokpa to come. He gave us his word that he will be on the show today. We've been in constant contact, exchange of chats and stuff like that. but we've been trying to reach him by phone call, and he's not picking up. And we texted him, he's not still answering. I don't know what's happening. And according to information here from what I see on WhatsApp, the last time he was on was around 6:25 my time, which is about 2 hours ago. But he's not picking up. But
give him a few minutes.
Like I said, you are not the last. Yeah, you are not the first or the last person making this or giving the government this warning. You know, Professor Tokpa also made a series of videos in recent time, and in one of those videos, he actually gave such a warning. And we'll try to reach a queue, or we'll try to queue you somewhere where we'll get play his voice, and I hope he will come. But if he doesn't come, we'll discuss and we'll play his voice and where he gave warning to the government. But let's go this route. Paul, this case is revealing a lot of things where the hidden facts about people that we didn't know are coming up. The former vice president, everybody sees this man as the wisest man politically now. But if you go back to history, he served in government for a very long time. And he went to the second highest position in the country, vice president. Now, if you look at his history, he was fired by the late President Samuel Doe, and he was also fired by Amos Sawyer. And all along, this man has only been in government. Now, when he worked with President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf as vice president, he himself admitted at the end of that term that the squander, when they question what was his part that he played in the squandering, he said, "No, I was parked as an old car in a garage." Now, this is a man who is denying somebody he has known for over 40 years. So, do you think it was a mistake by President Doe to fire this man, or by interim president elect Dr. Sawyer to fire him, or for the ex-president stay alive, Mrs. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, to pack him, like he said, to isolate him, because he meant that he was totally isolated. He was useless, functionless, meaningless in the government. He just meant nothing. He was nothing according to him, because that's what he tried to say. So do you think that was a mistake, or did these people see something in this man that they were not sure of, that made him to be fired 2 times and then packed as an old car? Because this is a man who is still alive, and he will deny somebody who he knows. So do you think all these actions that past leaders took against him was by mistake, or something they saw that we don't know?
Well, the thing is, some of us at least were old enough to go back in time. Right. Captain Joseph Numa Boyka under the Samuel Doe government, he was fired because of corruption, according to his own friend Darren Dillon. And he was in London visiting when he was fired. There's a newspaper clip that Darren Dillon have on his page. That to start with. People claim that this man to be the most honest man and have clean hands. No, he's not. Samuel Doe in the 1980s, remember the 1985 election, Kekula Poto was the how they call it, campaign manager at the time for Samuel Doe. Doe wanted to pick Omen Boyka, but he was advised, and that story had been around for, he was advised by Kekula Poto not to pick him. That's why they went for Harry Moba. So what Kekula Poto knew at the time, that he advised Doe not to pick him. Fast forward, during the war, when Eddie Johnson, after the war, when Eddie Johnson came, she wanted a low-fat vote, right? So she went and brought Joe Boyka because they were all in CDC together. She knew him for many years. You see? So she needed the Lofa County vote. So she brought him. And what she did, gave him the second highest seat in the country. The old man lied on Eddie and said he was Parker. He was not Parker. Eddie was sending him up and down. The man met Barack Obama. He represented Eddie in UN. So what made him a Parker? He never a Parker. So all the deception that he going about, it's just not right. So Liberians just need to open their eyes to this man that they're dealing with. Omer Burka is not credible. So if he can lie on his own friend that he knew for over 40 years, we have a problem. So the government need to throw this case out and stop the persecution instead of saying they convicting somebody based on allegations that have no merit. So that's how I see it. And I think Liberians need to do better on this. So I would say it left with the people of the land to see the truth, what is happening, that this case get nothing in it. They just need to throw for these people to move on with their life. And if the government is so afraid of Cummings, if they say he does not have the number to win, them, throw the case out. Boyka say he's the most popular man with over 400,000 votes in the vote. Stop conniving with the government and throw the case out. So this is why I don't understand. How come I've not seen that in my lifetime? And you cannot be an opposition, join with the government to prosecute another opposition based on some kind of document you came together, your craft together. It does not make sense. What's your take?
Well, my take is that definitely there was something that these leaders saw in this man, for which he was fired 2 times, and also claiming that he was parked. And this is all about deception. This old man, there is nothing true about him. I mean, this is my own view, that if he can lie with proof that he knows Mr. Cummings, but then he comes and denies him at the 11th hour, simply because he wants power so much. There was something that Ellen Johnson saw in him. And he also made Ellen Johnson to look ugly. You know, it's like me and Paul Children going to Kenny shop.
He lied on Ellen.
Man, let's take it, Kenny, we eat it. Okay. And because I was the first to put my hand in the candy pack and take it, when we come outside with the grab up, I said, I know that, man. You see? So that's what he was doing. He tried to make himself to be the clean man, to make Ellen Johnson to be the dirty man, so that he will have an easy ride to the presidency. And you know, and given the kind of people Liberians are, you know, Liberians being the kind of people they are, they very easy to buy in the story. This Joseph Boakai man, they say he's innocent, he's not corrupt. But if you go back in history, there is nowhere in history in Liberia that he was audited by any independent body and they declare him free. Or not even, let's forget about independent body, okay? But he was audited by even his own community, those departments that he had. Like for example, LPRC or not, LPMC. Did they audit him? No. When he was vice president, did they audit him? No. So how do you determine somebody who was not audited to be innocent, to be corruption-free? It's not possible. This man received a lot of money on behalf of the group of 77. He received a lot of money in his office and all these things. There's no account about it. Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, but with that one, I wouldn't dive into it because in Liberia, nobody audit the corrupt people. That's to start with. They don't audit them. But they make him out say he's got a clean record. He self-manifested his own story that he have a clean record, right? He came out, he lied on Ellen. By lying on Ellen, he can lie on anyone to start with. The man who lied on Ellen saying that Eddie had him parked as a parked car. He never did anything. He was just there for 12 years parked car. But we saw videos of he representing Ellen at the National Assembly in UN. We saw him visiting China. He met the Chinese president. We saw him with Barack Obama. So this man, I think he's one of the 419 in Liberia. He's a complete mafia, and he lies a lot. So telling Mr. Cummings that he looking in his face and say, I don't know him, this, I just can't stand the man. He's just a liar. A liar is a liar. Deception at the highest level. And that's why it is. The man is a liar. He is a liar. Nobody, if I call him former vice president, said it's irritating me. He's a liar. He lied on Ellie. He lied on him.
I mean, there is no. It's former vice president. You see?
Yeah, he is. I said for Peter, me, calling him former vice president, get him to annoy me because the man is a 419er. He's a liar. He lied on the woman that gave him the opportunity.
Peter betrayed Jesus, but he was still one of the disciples. So you see,
but that's what I'm saying. I mean, living memory, the woman who brought you to prominence, you lie on her, say, oh, she kept you packed because Eddie have not said anything. And we saw video of him going to China representing Eddie. We saw him in the UN representing Eddie. We saw him in the White House with Barack Obama. And he said he was packed car. If that man can lie on Eddie, he can lie on anyone. He's a liar. That's why he looked in the eye of Mr. Cummings and said, I don't know this man. The man is a liar. And in a credible court case like this, they will throw, because Liberia is no exception. That's all. It's just a bad country.
Oh, no, in a credible court, like you say, they will not only throw this case out. It should be held in contempt for lying.
Exactly, for lying.
Do you know what? Yeah, we have this video. The video is circulating on social media that he knows Cummings ever since. So for him to come and lie on the oath, you see, but let me tell you, like you were saying, the precursors to the 1990 war are clearly visible now. The things that made the war to come, and people are overlooking these things. You know, you cannot. We got 5 million people in Liberia, or may not be living there, but our population is close to that, or even more than that. Now, for few people to believe that they can grip to power and then they can maneuver anything, they can downplay the feelings of the people, the rest of the people, they can suppress them, you know, and do like, you know, let me tell you, if you push a wall, the wall will push you back. And like I said, you are not the only person who is signing this caveat to the government. I'm trying to cue Professor Alaric Tokpa. He's supposed to be with us as our guest, but he's not here. But something he's been saying. Let me. Okay, let's hear what he will say here. Let me see if I can get him on. I don't know if I'm going to get him. Let me see. But Paul, you can be throwing some light on this whole thing. I'm just trying to cue him because I have him on my phone here. But like you said, rightly, a criminal is a criminal. There is nothing we can polish it because let me tell you, there is no small crime in the eyes of God. But let's hear from this man.
That the Weah administration is incapable of saving democracy in Liberia. It is clear that the Weah administration is more interested in killing democracy in Liberia. It is an administration that does not care about the future of this country, about the future of the young people, about the future of the youth, and about the future of future generations. So, he said that it should be established, therefore, that there is need for a strong opposition, there is need for a vibrant opposition, there is need for an opposition that promises a better future for the people of Liberia. Because to bring down a government whose popularity has declined, to bring down a government that is inefficient and ineffective is not sufficient. What replaces that government becomes even more important. The policies.
Okay, now you heard him. the real government is incapable, and the real government is trying to kill democracy in Liberia. And then he said we need a strong opposition. So he laid down premises, a lot of premises before he came to that point. But the video is long, we cannot play it. Then first, he said the real government is incapable of running the country. Two, we need a strong opposition to bring down that government. And three, it's not only sufficient to bring down a government that is inept. When you bring down that government, or when you take that government out, what to replace it with? So if you have a liar like Joe Bwaka, the man who lied about his position in government, his functions in government, the man who lied that he doesn't know somebody he's been known for over 40 years, who know that there are people who deny people. Peter, who was close to Jesus Christ, the most honest man in the world, the man who you could die or you can die and he will lift you up. The man who had the power to make you walk on water, you Peter. Then you turn around, you deny the same man. You say, I don't know this man, you Peter. So if Joe Bwaka can do this thing to Cummings, do you think this man can replace a kleptocratic government like we are? Because I mean, at least we are seeing what we are is doing. We know what we are government is capable of. We know his failures, his successes, his strength, his power, his weaknesses. We know everything. Okay, but to take we are from there, whom do you put there? Are you going to put this liar, this man who can lie about every little thing, that he was not functional in a government that is serving 12 years? If you were not functional in the government, why kept you there for 12 years in the first place? You say,
But why are you laughing for?
somebody you don't know, how can you go to work with him? And so I don't know, one of you can come in. So, but let's look at the three things the professor said. He said the real government is incapable. One, two, we need strong opposition to replace this kind of inept, incapable government. And three, if you move this government, what do you have? What policies do you have in place? Are you just becoming opposition or just to move a government? So what do we have to replace what we have already? Or Joe Bwaka, or liar?
No, let me dive in. The best person who have to replace the government is Mr. Cummings. Now look at it keenly here. The criminals.
Out of a school. Let it be as it is.
Yeah, you see, the criminals move together. There's a common saying, yeah, birds with the same fellow flock together, right?
Together, yeah.
The criminals move together. So the criminal now against the clean one is Mr. Cummings, and that is the fact. Look at the people that are conniving today. It just tells you. So you cannot replace a criminal government with another criminal government, and it's seeing that that's what's happening here. So they both together in this. Mr. Bwaka is one of the biggest liars in the history of our nation at the highest level. The man, I think he's one of the mafia in our country, and people have to watch out for him. So how can you look in the eye of your friend for 40 years and look, say, I don't know this person? I mean, Peter said we wouldn't have done that to Jesus Christ. To be honest, that man is a liar. He's full of deceit. He's one of the biggest liars. So Liberians just need to watch out. The one they want to replace we are with. I think then we rather keep we are there, because you can't put this man who look in your friend and say, I don't know you. He'll be worse than we are. I'm sure you can welcome on the show. Long time.
Thank you, Paul. But it's not a surprise to me. And anybody who know about JMB will know that, yeah, this did not come as a surprise. Even I watched Demon show on the 10th of May. He said it. Just imagine, Demon said it before JMB could even appear in court to testify, and said JMB is about to lie. Yeah. So what do you expect from someone who is desperate? When a person is desperate, they can do anything. This man has worked in government for almost all his life. There's no impact, nothing at the sort. And then he turned around. One of the places where I gave up on former VP was when he said he's living on loan. You and myself know that that's not true. That's a big lie. Because this is a man, if you laughing, this is a man who worked as a vice president, not for 6 years, but for 12 good years. And he earned yearly more than $1 million. And then you come to tell the Liberian people, because of power, you say that you are living on loan. Then you expect us to believe it and think that you were not involved in corruption. That's a pure lie. And so yeah, it's just creating the pathway for
Let me
ABC.
broadcast what he just said. If you Google the Liberia, those who work in that government, the rich people that work in the government,
Yeah.
in the government, not outside the government, that work in our government, Liberia rich people, Burka is on the top 5.
But JMB is there.
He's there on the top 5. The man
He's on the top 5. The man who
Yeah.
say he's taking loan from
he's
them.
on loan. So the
Yeah.
man is just a criminal liar. That's the fact.
Yeah.
He lied.
Yeah.
The man is sitting on $21 million. He's not poor. He pretend. He lied.
Pretend to be, yeah, because he, but this man, he's so greedy. He's so selfish and so self-centered. What else can anyone ask of themselves again? You have exceeded the second highest most position in the country. What else do you want for 12 unbroken years? This man is that's just greed and thirst for power. These are how Sierra Leoneans behave. He is a Sierra Leonean. He's not a Liberian, because Liberian man is always satisfied with whatever you get in. Liberian man, when you're doing your corruption, you get in car, you get in gas, you get in. They say that in their corner, they won't know again. Whether you say the whole country or that job we are doing. Job we are is stealing, enriching himself, but the ones that around he went and get them peanuts. So yeah, they certify. But JMB, he's not a true son of the soil. He's a foreigner, and we know this. He's a Sierra Leonean. He's not a bona fide Liberian. He did not originate from Liberia.
Let me come in here. The fact is that he had the second highest seat on the land.
Yes.
And he served. So he's a Liberian, plain blank. But the fact that he comes out and gave that bold-faced lie, that's the one that irritates me.
But that's what make him to be someone that is not from our culture.
Right.
Because he is so unsatisfied. He's not satisfied with what he has. Even though he's not a Liberian, but we gave him the most important position in the whole country.
Sorry for interrupting you.
Sorry for interrupting you.
Let's read this comment. Sorry for interrupting you. Miata Dakina, and Miata Dakina comes from Bon County. She comes from Bon County, but around the Lofa belt. So most of the people around the Lofa belt, Bon County belt, in a border, some of them, I know our people are very sentimental when it comes to the travel team. Some of them would have been behind GMB, but Miata Dakina is one Liberian who knows what she wants, who knows the truth. And she's a strong ANC supporter. Now she says, Papa GMB lying. I mean, in the interest of himself, he's always lying in the interest of himself. GMB had never had the Liberian interest. He's one of Mama Liberia.
Many problems.
Many problems. You see, and let's hear what's Elisha said. He said,
JMB.
Because when Uncle Brother point out where the man said he was living on loan, Elis says that this man is the 4th millionaire in Liberia, because they got a list of millionaires, right? I think Billionaire is number 1. So JMB is the 4th. But for this man to come and lie that he's living on loan, one, then he lied that during the 12 years he was in government. You see, I don't know how can somebody want to think that he's smarter than 5 million people.
5 million people,
this is not possible.
That you can manipulate, because our society is gullible.
That you tell us that I was not functioning in the government, I was a parked car, okay? Then we'll believe it. We'll say, oh yeah. So even if there was a government, if our government was to prosecute the CDC, or the United Party government, they'll say, oh yeah, let me say you're not part of it, you're leading.
Yeah.
And lions can always think small, so that their brain are small. That's what made them lie. Lions think small because they're thinking that it's smarter than the rest of the people. I think there is some stupidity,
No, it's not
in the minds of
stupidity.
people who lie.
You think he wise?
Yeah, so I mean stupidity, not security, but stupidity. To be stupid enough to think that you can fool the other people. What makes you think he's smarter than all the rest of the people?
Yeah, because the thing is, Linfa, he had been doing it before. This is how he managed to get at the highest seat as a vice president. And people have never noticed this man, that he is corrupt, he is not honest, he's a liar, he's a cheat. Nobody knows.
Let me say something here. A friend of mine told me something in Liberia. They said they got this group of Liberians with JB4 in our group. They said they can fake it until they make it.
Yeah.
So that means JB have been faking things to the highest level. But it has reached to a point now that we're getting to know this JB, that people praising the honest man, the most sincere. So it is so honest. And this guy is also a deacon in the church. He has faked it to be a deacon in the church. To look in the eyes of his friend that he knew for over 40 years, that helped him. They say, I don't know you. Then, for Christ's sake, they need to throw the city case out of the court, to be honest.
You were, and the thing is, you are on record. There are two things that you can never lie on. When your signature is on a paper, and when your video is out there or your recording is out there, there's no way you can lie. You are on record, you are on a video saying that you know this man for how many years. He's a brother and a friend. And then now you went to the court on an oath, you're saying you don't know the person. What kind of good leader are you right now? We have a country that is upside down. A country that needs a good leader that's going to set a good example to our generation that are coming, to tell them, lying, you have to be a honest person, because corruption comes from lying. When you used to lying and cheating, then you start to corrupt. You start to rob people of their hard-earned living. What kind of leader? If the leader can lie, that means the day JMB become president in 2023, that whole country will turn to a lying country. But the church will say, oh, but our president can lie, so we will not lie. You see? No.
It's a shameful situation that
it's a shame. An elder, for that matter. He's an elder. We consider him as an elder, a man who should have retired honorably. And just sit down in a corner, let people come to you for advice. But he's so greedy, so thirst for power. But we will stand up against you, JMB. You will not be president of Liberia. And that day, some of us will tend to second Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I will tend to second Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for you.
I was reading somewhere where somebody said, I was reading somewhere where somebody said this man has memory issue, because that he doesn't even remember the suit that he wore yesterday in the court. Because for you to look at somebody you know forever or for a very long time and say you don't know him, something must be wrong with his memory issue. And he also turned around and said you don't know how to use WhatsApp. So the Liberian people, listen, for God's sake, we are in this 21st century. Everything now becomes technologically advanced. So you take a Joseph Boaka who cannot use WhatsApp. I don't even believe that he knows how to chat. And go place you before
It's a
before some
lie.
world leaders, smart world leaders, and expect anything good. Probably he will go and sign some contract with Tanka. He will say, no, I didn't sign a contract. So Liberian people, they may have started lying already. James may have started lying. He had not been elected. He's lying that he doesn't know comings, that he was a packer in the early Johnson government. And let me tell you, Ellie will always, I've always said this. I'm not a fan of Ellie in any case, or I'm not a fan of any Liberian president anyway. But
Yeah.
Ellie is not, let me use the word, Ellie is not stupid enough or foolish enough. If JMB is right that he was a packer, Ellie is not foolish enough to spend a lot of money to run campaign for she and JMB to win a ticket, and then at the end of the day, she just take him and park him in the garage. No, there was something. And if Ellen Johnson could come and tell her story, then we'll get to know what was wrong. There was something.
Linfa is a lie. This man was never packed. This man is on record again. Anybody who is watching this show can go and debunk me if they check it. This man is on record. When he was on a radio station, they asked him. He said every decision that Ellen Johnson took, they were all working hand to hand. That means he knew everything about it, and they were working together. So it's a lie saying Paka this. It's the same lie that the present vice president is saying again, that she's packed. No, she is not packed. I can name more than 5 appointees that are presently serving in the government that Joel Howard Taylor recommended, and they gave them the job. The Minister of Health, the present anti-corruption head, and many of them. So these people are just lying. This is the thing I keep on saying. The culture of deception, lies, falsehood. That's what continue to destroy our country. Our politicians have caged our people in the shackles of lies. They just lie to them, tell them all kind of things, because they feel that our society is gullible, and that has to do with the level of education in the country. There's no good educational system for somebody to think out of the box. That when somebody tell you black, you must think first, oh, is this right or is this not right? You understand?
So Andrea, you're right, because we get a lot of bold-faced liars in Liberia.
Yes.
Darrell Dillon is one of them. It just tell you the group that move together. Just think on this carefully. The other Bodneke, who lies the no one business, he's part of that group. This other guy who now joined the race from the so-called Spoon, these are all bold-faced liars. Think on it carefully. The liars are there, and when they lie, you see it in their faces. They just say like they're being honest, but they lie.
No, because they have continued. This is something that they have been doing all through our country.
Right.
And now we need a change. This is why I use the slogan always when I'm referring to ABC. I refer to him as the real change, because George Weah is a fake change, somebody who came from the slum, who the people thought that because he came from in poverty, he knows what it's like for a child to go a day without a food. He knows what it's like for a child coming from West Point to make it in life. He knows what it's like. But he acceded to the highest position in the country and failed the people. So it is
here is another evidence of Joseph Nimambwaka lies. Quite Gigan Bowman writes here, Mr. Cummings contributed to JMB Foundation so many times. Funny, he knew Cummings when Cummings spent his money on him. But today, because of politics or political expediency,
he claimed he does not know Cummings.
He does not know Cummings. Shame. You see, let me tell you, there is this story about what people say when you cross, some people use a bridge to cross it. The moment they cross that bridge, then
they know
you
nobody.
break the bridge behind it. And you don't know when you're coming by. Or the other one says that when you're going up, the people that help you to go up, do not people on them
Never forget
or
them.
to add to them. Because when they move from under you, there's no way you can come down. So
no, because you will need those same people on your way down. You will
Right.
meet them on your way down.
Yes.
That's from Lucky Dubie said, be careful what you do on your way up, because you're gonna meet them on your way down. That is how life
You
is.
meet the same people on your way down. So you know, for this man, I mean, I don't care. I was arguing with somebody somewhere where the person said, what is most important about knowing coming? So why don't, so if the man say no coming, I said no. But the moral, the moral part of the issue, that is important to know coming.
That's the
moral part of
the
it.
moral part.
You know that you know the man, but because you want to, like Nyakwa Jigan said, because of political experience, because you deem it necessary at the time, you know, to give political favor, then you deny somebody that you know. You know.
But one question here. Then look at this. Is this guy intend to run as for presidency? Joseph Boakai, is he intend to run? Because this
if he doesn't intend to run, why is he in the race?
Right. The thing is, so he wants George Weah to win, because if he intend to run, he will not side with George Weah to take Mr. Cummings to court.
Yeah.
Does he intend to run? So they may remember this old man for
He intend to run. This is why he want to label Cummings as a fraud, that Cummings finger document, which of course it is not true, so that he can get Cummings out of the race, because Cummings is his biggest competitor. Cummings say, okay, and you say you want run. Cummings say, okay, and you say you want run. I get problem with it, but let's compete. It is a game of competition. Who win, you win. Who lose, you lose. But he do not want competition.
But
because he
know. Andres, this is the point I'm making. Because this man said he have 400,000 votes that is locked in a vault, in a bank. Anytime he ready, you just open it. So you will get a number. Let's go to the competition. I will just open the vote and my number will come out to defeat you.
Let me come in here, Paul.
Let me learn first. Let me learn what I'm trying to say. This man that have the majority number more than George Weah, and he's now running away from competition. And then guess what? The guy who beat him 2017 with the most vote decided to go in bed with this guy. What does that tell you? This man doesn't have any intent of running. Just how he been lying. He lied to his followers that he want to run, and in the end, he will not run. That's why the case in court.
Oh, he want to get Cummings out of the way.
Let me come in here.
Yeah, go ahead, Linford.
This man, Manos Joseph Newman Boakai, Manos, or let me put it this way, Unity Party, under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. But before I come to that, let me give a contextual picture of what I'm trying to say. The United Party was formed somewhere in the late 70s, because I was still a boy in grade school, and I remember the name Edward Biancasseri, this man with the beard and this little glass. I remember vividly. But when Edward Biancasseri formed this party, I don't remember Unity Party ever making political gains in any elections. They're coming the first, not even for the second or third. No, United Party was just one of those many parties in Liberia.
Yeah,
and the name survived. This party was on life support, so to speak, politically. This party had never had any political impact on anybody in Liberia. That when they talk, people will see reason to even try to join them. Not until when Ellen Johnson herself, that Ellen Johnson and all the thing on us today. Not until when Ellen Johnson herself had run to Liberia Action Party and she couldn't make it. She went to the other party, she went to that other party, and she was looking for a place to hang. To the point where even if the ANC was in existence long time ago, Ellen would have even joined the ANC. So Ellen Johnson had been jumping from party to party. Finally, she landed on this in the arms of this unity party. Now, and let's give her the credit. She resuscitated the unity party. She put breath. She put life into the unity party. Okay, and this party even had to run 2 times and won and served 12 years. Now, then you go pick one liar, Joe Bwaka, whose only career in life is government job, doesn't create job, but he only works for government, and perhaps steals. Okay, you pick him from nowhere when he was supposed to be some like director or something somewhere. Then you make him vice president. You made this man to taste power. When he tasted power at this height, at this level, he is almost near his grave. He believes that he should become that top. Okay? He believes that he should become that top. And so he's so flexible that the board naked will call him dead man walking, something that nobody would say to my father. Oh, may God bless his ashes. My father, no man will even point finger at you and go free. That you will call him a dead man walking, and we, the children living, we know that. We heard it. And then our father will go and open a church and say, you know, God forbid. And this old man saw his pride. Wait, Paul, come in. Let me take a thing from my chest one time. And this old man saw his
pride. Take it
pride.
for your chest. This is the bottom line. Take it for your chest.
No pride. He's a liar. He got no pride. So he gave himself. He sold his soul to the board naked. So the board naked can swing him anywhere. Right now, let me tell you, Joseph Boyka is not making any decision on his own. Trust me. This old man, no, I'm not showing this old man. This old man might not even live to see 2023. I'm telling you, because the man is not making decision on his own. The man is under pressure. The board naked was stressed. The board naked, look, follow the trend. Before the CPP came to the system, what the board naked say? Board naked said, we're not talking about Joshua Bly, please. For those of you who talk about Henry Costa, that new nickname, board naked. That's how I call him. Board naked said, before the CPP people come together, their COP will have a part to play in the decision making of the CPP. And our people bought it. They not reacted to that. They not kill our dream from the start. So he has been influencing, and knowing that the leadership of the CPP will be rotational. So it came from Ure to Cummins. And during Cummins' leadership, the board couldn't see a way through. So they started against Mr. Cummins. Then luckily for him, it fell in the lap of Nobly, where he could make decisions. Then finally fell in the lap of Bwaka, where now he took over. So he had been deciding whatever happens. He said, United Party should leave the CPP. They did. United Party should take Cummins, ARP should take Cummins to court. They did it. So this boy have been influencing. So this old man is not making any decision on his own. But I blame Ellen Johnson Soli for making this man vice president. This man would have remained somewhere, you know, being nominal position.
Why you keep asking this man may not contest the 2023 election? The reason what I'm saying this is glaring. Their court case now has exposed this old man. He's one of the biggest liar in that country. The little cold water ball will start singing, say, Omer Boyka is a liar. So he does not intend to run. Because the liar took side with the government to persecute his friend that he been friendly with for over 50 years and look in his eyes, say, look, this man, I don't know him. This man, he's a liar. Now, I think the music George we have made, it was for him. The liar man in the time.
Mr. Liar man.
Honestly, he's a liar. The man have faked his way through line until he got to the higher seat. Is now caught up with him. That's the bottom line of all this. He's a liar. And wherever we send it, we twist it, he does not intend to run. And watch the butt naked he just talked about. The butt naked already started campaigning for the government. So what does that tell you? The man, he's had no interest in running. So the government going to give him some little retirement money. He's going to sit down and do his own thing. He's not going to contest. So the one that the government afraid of, that they want to drag in court. That
Okay,
man
so
love his analysis.
So in short, he wants to ensure third or second term Wia's administration, right?
Exactly. That's his intent. He does not want to.
But you know what? I don't blame WIA. I blame my ANC people because I'm sending this message out to you people. It's time for us to stand up and stop this nonsense that is going on where they are degrading our standard bearer in court. We need to act now and act. The government of Liberia need to stop this nonsense. Enough is enough. It is time for us to stand up now in unity and demand that this case be dismissed. Period. And the government of Liberia, if you don't dismiss this case, we're coming for you, especially me. Look at my face, go we are, because I'm coming for you. The thing I was working on, I'm coming put it down first and stand up now for Mr. Cummings. I come and get ready for you. You know me, why I'm capable of coming put four in one
And
chassis.
Giga keep, he says the sad thing is JMG is no longer considered an opposition to WIA.
Yeah, it's
now
not the
that
opposition.
they are working against the real opposition. It's true.
That's the point.
Yeah, but again, let's look at it this way. This your man with 400,000 votes, 400,000 voters, right? Why is this man afraid of what it mean? Primary in his own United Party,
But the man was rejected.
Yeah,
The man was
United Party.
rejected by the Liberian people, and the Liberian people continue to reject him because they know who he is. He's a liar. He's not a honest person. You think Liberian people stupid lean for?
Dr. Togai McIntosh is seen again as a threat to your man, to the old man. So his people going together and say they don't want anyone competition. They just want coronate him as far as the standard bearer of the party. But their constitution say in the United Party, their constitution says what? That they have the right. Anybody who is qualified has a right to contest the leadership of the party. Now they are refusing to go to primary. So Liberian people is just democracy, and the people cannot even have primary in their own party, let alone in a CPP that they ran away from. So tell me, is that democracy? Is that the people that you want to trust with your country? And let me tell you one reason. You got one of the I don't want to call them supporters of Unity Party, but these are guys who, some of them are my very personal friend who worked together before. I know them in and out. These are people who are very corrupt, but because they were in the past government and Ellen did not give them that opportunity to really steal. So they push JMB, hoping that he's popular, so that they can get there and steal. And I can name some of them, but not yet. Until time comes, when the real election campaign starts, then we start pinpointing these people.
But you know what? Before the end of this year, there are a lot of things that's going to happen. Trust me, JMB or WIA will not be president of Liberia come 2023. Let me be on record for that. Alexander Cummings will be the next president of Liberia. Do or die. We will fight for Liberia this time around. We will not get tired talking and telling our people, calling them and telling them the truth. For them to vote their future, not to give their future away. Or else the next year, if they decide to vote WIA again, it's going to be a disaster.
You see, look, Andres, you kind of right, because the leadership staff that this man is advocating and talking about, the bread and butter issue, the job creation, all of the things that will help the people, this is what he's talking about. Have you ever heard Omer Baka talking about job creation?
No. Road. The man said road. All roads lead to Lofa.
Yeah. So
you will be president in the Republic of Lofa.
You have my good friend who is president, and then he got a prime minister in Liberia. The prime minister run the country. And the prime minister, Mr. Cummings, call him prime minister, is Nathaniel McGee. the prime minister, the man who runs the show.
Yeah.
Now, have they ever put up any kind of policy that this is how we're going to transform the country? They came out with a fake thing that they copied and paste called the PDP, this purple document that they never use. Both of those people did not have policy of changing things around. When you go to Monrovia now, go around Edwin Snow House, the street light that they put out that they were talking about, oh, the man putting street light all over the place. It's no guardian light that we have here. In my bag, I have one. That guardian light, it's just a 3-meter pole. It's not street light.
Wow.
Yeah, and so these criminal guys run out with all sort of things. Oh, let's do this to convince the people. But there's no policy agenda to say this is how we uplift the people. And the one that preaching the language, that's the one that they decided to take to court. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, but let me tell you something. It depends on we the voters. The politicians in Liberia, the politicians in Liberia, they're not stupid. They know they've been working with these people. They know how our people think. Go to their election time, get their small thing, they vote for you. When you get there, you kick them out, let them suffer, and then when they suffer enough, then they will know that they need you. Then election coming closer, you go again. So this is something that has been happening over and over.
Yeah.
Paul, wait, let me learn on this one. Don't forget that you and I are almost product of the same thing. That the past administration did things like that to us, to our parents. So the Liberian people, then they get used to that. Okay? They get used to that. And then, so these people know that this is the only way that they can get the voters on their side. So they can either craft lies. They know your weak points.
Yeah.
Mean the voters. They know how to get to you. But if we can transform our minds and say, no, hell no direct dealer will come to me after 9 years and start acting sorrowful and sit down on the internet and say he having talk show, or not talk show, but he having a show class, and then talk all the sorrowful thing, talk all the sweet talk, and ask sorrowful, and then we go to him. No, we must see tangibles. No president will come to us again and say, look, I come from the slum, yell you, I'm this and that. No.
My mother market woman.
Yeah, no, he said my mother market with me.
Now my mother market with me, market.
And then he like this. And when the rest gets shot, then those that cannot afford, then the testing culture in economic.
Budget shuffle.
We want tangibles. And this is what the Liberian people have been doing. So it is on us. The onus is on us, the voters. Those of us who see better at the end of the day to tell our people the real truth that, let me tell you, all these people, they playing the same game over and over. The game that they have been playing with us for years. We left through that. They did it to us. They did it to our parents. But now, thank God that we know better.
Yes.
So we have to educate our people. Nobody should come to you at the end of the day. Look at them. They start lying. The morality in the whole case, for me, I don't care what
but we need to have a show. We need to have a show, our show to be heard on radio station. Because the radio station that this show is supposed to be heard on, the people of Liberia need to know something about this government that they don't know. When the government just took over in 2017 and 2018, I decided to support them because they said that we were hateful, we were opposition, and so. Brought a contract that is worth almost $1 billion that could revitalize Liberian agricultural system, that will bring about increase in our economy. Because when you start to produce your own fruit, when you start to have industry that produce let's say, common thing like juice, because Liberia is very rich with a lot of fruits, and some of these fruit medically, they can also use some of this fruit to produce medicine. Liberia is a rich country, a very rich country, I can tell you. I'm not an agricultural student. I'm not an agricultural
Okay.
student. I'm a chemistry student from the science college, but I know the capability of Liberia. I know what Liberia is capable of. Apart from our mineral resources, we also
Okay.
have the capability to produce our own food, to feed ourselves,
That's the fact.
and also do exportation. So in
That's the fact.
2010,
But
in
let's
2000,
welcome
welcome,
our
yeah.
guests. Our,
Welcome, Professor.
our guest is
Respect.
our guest is on.
I'm
Professor
honored.
Do you hear us?
Welcome, Prof.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
I'm honored to be. I'm
Sorry,
honored to be on the same
I
show
had some
with you today.
difficulty coming on.
Okay, but
The honor is mine.
like we normally say in Liberia, it's
Thank
better
you.
late than
Welcome.
never. At least it's good that we have you, and we do sincerely understand the problems with the internet in Liberia. And so, first of all, let me say thank you so much for trying, because I see all your communication here, and welcome formally.
Welcome, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Okay. To get the ball rolling, because our time, half of it is gone. But to get the ball rolling, we'll commit the rest of the time to you. To get the ball rolling, Professor Alaric Tokpa, this name sounds very familiar to many Liberians. What is Professor Alaric Tokpa doing now?
Independent research.
Good. In the areas of governance?
Indeed, and also farming at the private family
Very
level.
great. Okay, now we gotta move at a very fast pace here, Prof. Of late, the professor have been very active. Not in the classroom, me see him in the classroom, not me see him sitting in the library reading, but I have seen him on the internet propounding good governance, ideas about good governance, and warning the government of Liberia about the danger of killing democracy.
Yeah.
What prompted that?
Working in the classroom and providing public education are related operations.
Mm-hmm.
It is not possible to de-link theory from practice. We cannot have knowledge base with which to assess change in Liberia, the transformation in Liberia, the transformation of Liberia that is required, and sit back and watch our country decaying and dying in our own eyes.
And so the Prof has to begin the process of educating the public and warning the government about the danger of suppressing or killing democracy.
Rephrase, please.
I mean, having said what you said, I'm just following up by asking if this is the best way you think or you can help to build a democracy by educating the public and warning the government of the danger of killing the democracy.
Why not? Because we are in a post-war situation, a situation in which the government does not understand the complications. So it is important for us to highlight the complications involved here.
Okay. Well,
you said we have wasted time. We want to reclaim time. Do you want me to say more?
Yeah, you can say more, Professor.
Do you want me to
Welcome.
say more because we're short of time?
No, don't worry about the time. Don't worry about the time. Yeah, we will tell you when we are time constrained.
We have a government that is greedy. Greedy.
Yes.
And greedy for wealth. And this is dangerous. Because any time that we make money the center of our concern interests, make the love of money and the love of personal wealth the issues of the universe around us, our worldview, our national focus and trust with concern of getting more money. And once you love money, you will never ever be able to get more. Interestingly, it is that same love of money which you will continue to search for that will destroy you. This is where we are.
Right.
Paul?
Yeah, Professor, welcome to Bottom. This is Paul Chilopia from London. Somebody sent a regards to you. Fede say I should say hi to you. It's been a while, and he want to know when will be your next visit to London. It's been a while.
God willing, really very soon.
Okay.
Because we are doing our best to organize in Liberia, and we need to make a tour of the world to explain to the Liberian diaspora where we are. Totally. Thank you very much. I recall how we did hang together in London.
Yes.
Greetings to the young comrades.
Okay. Yeah, so comrade, let me get to the point here. Some of us follow you for many years, and we saw you as the role model. The situation in Liberia today that have many of us confused, that you have opposition group that are now collaborating with the government to prosecute another opposition leader. What your take on this? Where is Liberia heading?
We are a post-war country. We emerged from the war and created a government that did not understand our reality. That government assisted to produce an administration that did not understand the complications and the complexities. Firstly, the governments of the period do not understand the nation-building project. It has proceeded as if a nation existed. It is not true. There are many nationalities in Liberia. Then the government has proceeded as if the presence of the state is equated with the presence of the nation. If you understand characters of regimes like these, and that is why it is possible to always important to distinguish between an existing government and what a regime is. The Weah administration is a continuation of the Ellen regime. The Ellen regime is a continuation of the Taylor regime, which was a continuation of the Doe and Toba regimes. They are the same. There may be differences in degrees, but they are based on the same policies. The wealth of the government officials, who are the citizens of Liberia, and the suffering of the poor ordinary people who are mere subjects. Take the way in which the government has proceeded to behave regarding the electoral politics of the country has been in a way as to suggest Lufa has been disrespected in such a way as to suggest that Lufa is not part of this country. Meanwhile, Lufa County belongs to a nationality. That nationality cuts across Nimba, Bong, Bapulu, Lofa, Monserrato. These are people who have connections with Guinea, Sierra Leone, the Mande of Liberia. They have connection also with Ivory Coast. So when you treat a people like just like that, you are creating commotion. because I know your topic has to do with the upheavals in Liberia. Upheavals may have to do with certain and fundamental change, but upheavals can also do with confusion, commotion. The government is creating commotion in this country by the way in which it has treated Lofa County, the way in which it is treating the electoral programs of Lofa County. But our traditional people have their wisdom. They have taught us that the rope or the bush you wallow is the bush from which the rope comes to ties you.
Right.
Okay. The Paul, you come in, but let me just ask the prof. I got some video clip there that if time permit, I'll play from you. But to make reference to one of those video clips, you specifically warn the government of the danger of what or the role that it is playing right now. If governments anywhere play such a role, there is a repercussion. That is, the military could decide, well, this government is not serving the way it should serve, they can take over. And then you also link it to the situation in Lofa County, how the government denied a senator who won clearly a seat that was not contested by the opponent, but this person was denied to take a seat. And when you speak like this, are you speaking as Alaric Tokpa, or are you speaking for the people of Lofa County being, in such a situation?
Both. I'm speaking as both.
Okay.
Fair enough. Paul?
Oh, that interest coming, I'll follow
up. Thank you once again, Professor, for honoring our invitation to come on this show. I have watched you of late, and let's say 2 years back, I've always just followed you briefly, because for me, I love people who are patriotic. And I must say on this show, on this public manner, that yes, indeed, you are patriotic. And I don't know whether is that because you are a teacher and professor? Is that is your character or your characteristic regards to the passion for change in Liberia, the passion for a good life for the Liberian people, the passion for a good country, a country with good moral. Does that come from you being a teacher?
I grew up as a secondary school student leader, as a university student leader, as a national student leader, and as a progressive in the movement for justice in Africa, All Africa Freedom, All People's Freedom Alliance, APFA, in the New Democratic Alliance for Liberia movement, which I headed, and of course, in the National Democratic Coalition, the NDC, which I'm the head of. As far as we are concerned, the purpose for any serious political work in any country is to bring change, is to have compassion on your people.
Yeah.
Is to fight for justice. We are social, so we believe in political freedom and economic justice. From the side of the classroom teacher, I can say that partly this reinforces passion for work, because I'm one of those who was sent to the firing squad in Liberia before most of you were born, or expression, and I'm one of those who was sent to Belela jail when many of you are very young, or before you were born, fighting for poor people. Consistency is important. We've had problems with situational radicalism in this country. I think the time has come, since we've experimented with the military leader, the civilian leader, the women leader, the time has come to experiment. And you don't experiment with countries, but at least give the opportunity and the chance to people who have the means and the possibility to plan the future of this country better than we've seen before.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the educational side, it is not just a question of knowing how to think, but you have to make a choice about what to think about. A choice about how and what to think. That's very important. That brings to mind also the earlier concern that I raised. Since I was concerned about reclaiming time because of the delay, I may have been talking a little faster. That a crisis in the opposition, which I know you're also concerned about, is the crisis of the Liberian state. Any time that a state is made so attractive to competitors as a money-making agency, then the competition for state power becomes a life and death struggle. So rather than view this exclusively as confusion among people who want power, you work with the bottom line. If you're interested in understanding the bottom line is that there's a state that has positioned itself as a money-making machine. That is what Liberian politicians are fighting over. And that is what we are trying to advance against. That there's need for a people's-oriented agenda around which all of us can revolve. That may make a difference.
Okay, Prof, if I may just ask you one question.
My last question, Linford.
Okay.
I have
Flo.
a last question for Professor.
Okay, Flo.
That brings me down to my last question. As a patriot, and also I refer to you as a revolutionary person who have stood every test of time. If we're talking about people of good moral conduct in Liberia, if we're talking about patriotic men and women of Liberia, you will be among the first 5 in Liberia who have gave their life. It is according to you, and the record is there. It's nothing hidden because the record are there. We read about these things. It's only by the grace of God that you are alive today to still be talking about end to impunity, that we need justice and accountability, that a country can never prosper without holding people accountable, without setting a precedent. So what is the way forward for Liberia right now? Because for me, I think the 2023 election is very, very much important to Liberia. Any mistake that we make is going to take this country 50 years back again. So we don't want to make that mistake. What is the way forward for Liberia? What is the way forward for Liberians? Because the masses are tired. They are tired in the sense that whenever they go and vote, you always see them moving towards change. They are moving towards those liars that come to them and lie that they are bringing change. They are going to change your life. They are not going to behave like the previous ones. That shows you that the people are tired. They are looking for someone that's going to transform their life, that's going to give them that opportunity that they need, the basic necessity, education, good health care, security, and you just name it. But the greedy politician, like you said, they kept failing them. What is the way forward? What can you patriot? What can we patriot do for Liberia that will lead us on the right path this time around, that we will not make a mistake or get it wrong again? What is the way forward for us? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your brilliant question. The first thing I will say is that the Weah administration is part of the past. And I will encourage the young people who are the most among voters to give the Weah administration the red ballot. after 2023, the WIA government must leave the mansion. The question is, where will go? What is it that should replace him? As you know, the Liberian people were very anxious to see the CPP organize them around the 2023 election. But the CPP has disintegrated. There is no way in which the CPP will resurrect in a dignified way. My advice is that let the old actors in the CPP have their wishes. Let them go in their individual directions and compete for the votes of Liberians. On the other hand, we have had consultations in the opposition community, and we have built a new alliance. And this will be announced very soon. It has been our interest before that the opposition collaborate around what? A nationalistic program. Are being engaged by civil society organizations, the growing intelligentsia, the intellectuals debating the street corners. What is the way forward? And I said to them that even though I'm involved with the organization of a new alliance, even though I'm playing a leading role in the organization of a new alliance, which will be announced very soon, it is important for civil society and all well-meaning Liberians to come together and develop, whether as a result of a symposium, consultations, or political workshops, and develop the people's agenda for national progress as a document that any government which comes to power will be obliged to pay attention to, as a document that civil society and well-meaning advocates will look at as their instrument of advocacy for a better Liberia. Secondly, I have suggested that there is need for a broad-based formation also of the political party domain, the Liberia Democratic Front, that every county should build a democratic front, such as the Grand Bassa Democratic Front, the Cape Mount Democratic Front, the Niba Democratic Front, the Grand Gide, Maryland, Bapulu, Lofa Democratic Front, so that the Niba, all of them can come together under one umbrella as a national democratic front, who will champion the cause of ensuring that the people's agenda for national progress is implemented in a reasonable way by any government that comes to power. That we have no guarantee that a government that comes to power will be able to satisfy the best interests of our people, will be able to implement its policies in accordance with the wishes of our people. That therefore, our people need a fallback position. And this arises from historical experience. And I do know, as I've said over and over, it is easier to take power than to control power.
Yes.
Okay, Prof, let me just follow up on that. Having said that, there is you envision having a national democratic front in all of the counties. That's good. And then having said
at the national level,
and then having said that, you guys are working, people are working on a new structure, a new political structure. As of now, there are 4 parties that were in the CPP, plus the CDC, making it 5. Those are the 5 front runners. Where are you aligned? Which of these parties are you aligned to? If you just know you're monitoring the background, you will hear us clearly.
Obviously, I will never be aligned with the CDC. I will never be aligned with spoilers. The CDC is part of the spoilers of Liberia. It is part of the spoilers of democracy. It is part of the spoilers of change. I will never be aligned with the CDC. When we announce our formation, you'll know where I stand.
No, I mean,
I
presently,
appreciate another invitation to explain why I stand where I stand.
No, I mean, presently, before we come to that formation,
Sorry?
where do you stand? Before we get to that formation, but presently,
I'm
where
the
do you stand?
I'm the chairman of the National Democratic Coalition. The National Democratic Coalition is the oldest coalition in Liberia. It is comprised of the New Deal movement and the Free Democratic Party and other national structures and well-meaning individuals. who are affiliating with us.
Okay.
In spite of that, and because of that, we are not insisting that we have to produce a presidential candidate, one nationalistic candidate around which other political parties will revolve in the opposition.
In this new formation that you envision, are you going to invite all of the parties, including even those that are in the CPP or that were in the CPP?
We invite substantive parties, patriotic and well-meaning parties.
Patriotic party, that's what it means. No corrupt parties, but patriotic party, because this is a patriotic man, a man that has stood all his life, has given all his life.
Let me continue my questions.
Okay.
You may make your commentary. I don't know how you arriving at those conclusions, but let me just continue with the prof. Prof, of late, you've been sounding like you lay towards the Unity Party because you've been advocating that Mr. Joseph Nwabwaka is the next president of Liberia in one of their videos or in two of their videos. How could you just conclude like that when you are not a member of the Unity Party directly? Because that's why I asked you that question. Where do you stand? So how do you know that Mr. Nwabwaka will be the next president of Liberia when in fact your support is not leaning towards him as we speak?
The United Party knows, just as I do, that I am not a member of the United Party and that I will not be a member of the United Party.
But you can support that candidate. Yeah, you can support that candidate and declare him the next president.
I'm a partisan of peace. I'm a partisan of justice. I'm a partisan of love for country. I'm a partisan of a better agenda for Liberia. When we announce a new formation, quota of the United Party or the Liberian people.
But why are you blowing the horn of Mr. Bwaka? Why are you telling the Liberian people that he's going to be the next president? I have you on tape. Yeah.
Bwaka is a Liberian.
I agree.
I know
like
him.
You and me.
I've studied him. I've engaged him. I've extracted commitment from him.
So you're going to support him. So you're going to support him.
Of
you're
course,
going to support him. Come in any election.
He's part of the organization of this new formation, and I will support him for reasons. If you give me the time, then it means you have to extend your time so that I can explain this. It will be cumbersome for you. So just wait until we announce our new formation.
Let me come into the professor. Professor,
listen to me. I do not necessarily follow individuals. I follow programs and agendas. I follow national interest. I've engaged each and every leader of the parties that were in the CPP. And I didn't want to go that far, but it is the truth that more than 2 years ago, I met some of them and told them that the CPP would disintegrate. I will now explain why.
Why not?
We need to engage in more substantive conversation. The CPP is
okay. Lifa, can I come in, please, for the professor?
Sure.
Professor, are you telling us on this show that your support is going behind the former vice president for the presidential election come 2023?
My support is going behind the disposition of the Liberian people.
Okay. Now he's talking like a revolutionist. I want you to be on record. The disposition of the Liberian people. So you are trying to say the disposition of the Liberian people is electing former VP as president come 2023.
From whatever research that we have done, it is clear that the Liberian people are aligned with the Joseph Bwaka candidacy. Understand this.
Is it not a contradiction to what you stand for, your ethics? Is it not a contradiction? You going behind someone who is a liar, is not a patriot, and a dishonest person? You have stood for what is right, and you have spoken against
different political circumstances. Different political circumstances inspire different forms of mobilization. Are compromises not part of the political process?
No. If you are on track, you must not compromise your.
You cannot compromise the strategic interests of your people. You cannot compromise in your personal interests, but you can compromise in the interest of your people.
No. I don't think
have
so.
you come to the conclusion? Have you come to the conclusion that two different persons can have the same experience and have different understanding and interpretation of that experience? Have you come to the conclusion?
Yeah, it depends. It depends from what perspective the two individuals are looking at. Because
that is exactly what I'm saying. And that is because the environment in which they find themselves may disalign, may not align. For instance, do you understand that the young people who are the majority of voters today do not have the experience of those of us who experienced the war? That they do not have the experience of those of us who were born before the war? That most of them, in fact, did not experience the war, only heard about it? That many of them are craving for war, through which they can loot and live other lives? Do you understand that there's misalignment between you are a conscious young lady, as can sense? You are thinking about Liberia on the basis of your thought. You will decide to adopt a political attitude. But the people that you need in order to assume political power, to take state power and change their lives, until you reach a point where you take state power to change their lives, they are agents of the enemy.
Okay, Prof,
please, let me just say this.
Okay.
That therefore, the masses that you're fighting for will take action first. Get experience from their action before they get consciousness and correct thinking. I was on public radio a week ago, and somebody called and said, we apologize that we did not listen to your advice in the 2017 election. And I said, no, that is incorrect a position. You have no need to apologize. Because if we're in the situation of the so-called masses, we might have behaved similarly. So the problem with the difficulty of politics is that these are people you are fighting for, but until you free them, they are agents of the enemy. You know,
okay.
how many insults I've received from ordinary people who today are not coming around?
I don't want to forget my question. So let me cut you there, Prof. You said, according to your research, you are seeing the disposition of the Liberian people. And we're talking about the masses, because it's like what the people, like what you said, the people you're fighting for, what they want is what you will go for. So have you realized that the same people that we have been fighting for, the masses, that they make wrong decisions when it comes to electing leaders? And so because they are the masses, whether they are going for wrong leader or going for wrong leadership, you will follow them? Is that why you're making us understand?
The terms are not the same. I was not categorical. I said different circumstances lead to different.
Yeah, but the people are the same. The masses are still the same. We have not changed them anyway. The same people that.
But I said to you that the same masses can take action, learn from their experience, gain consciousness. So the same way we learn, they also learn. But the trajectories are different.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. You are a product. I come in, Paul. Let me question Prof a little bit. You will get a Paul. You are a product of the progressives. Am I correct?
Yeah, very correct.
Very good. Now, in the Liberian cycle, a lot of people, politicians, analysts, political analysts, are saying that the progressives did not really. I mean, they made impact. They brought a message. People brought a message, but they did not actually contextualize or practicalize what they preached, and so the progressives failed. Do you agree or disagree? And if you agree, I'll ask you. If you disagree, I'll still ask you. Do you disagree or agree? Did you fail, or as a progressive, do you think you realize what you fought for?
Well, ask me from both directions then.
What?
Let us make progress. Ask me from both directions.
Okay.
The firstly, the progressive did not. And secondly, the misinterpretation does not equate to the reality.
And what are those?
No, you said if I say yes, you ask me. If I say no, you ask me. I'm saying firstly, the progressive made tremendous progress.
Okay, so that's
we
yes.
gave Liberia democracy. We gave Liberia freedom of speech, freedom of advocacy, the courage, the bravery to say truth to power. Was our job. We did that. That's part of our historical contribution.
Yeah, but did you feel somewhere along the line? Do you think?
Well, you have more details than I do. It is important for those who say that the progressives fail to outline where we fail. When the discourse proceeds in that way, then we can put forward our views and elevate the debate to another level, or else we're in the same position in circles.
Okay, let's suspend that. Paul?
Yeah, comrade, it's good to hear all of this. I just want to take it back. I did ask your question previously regards to the opposition case that is in court. Now, you lay out something here about the Taylor government, the Doe government, the Eden government, they are all field government. Is it not the same government that the person you are leading towards come from? Would that person make any difference in the coming election if he given the opportunity to serve, Mr. Joseph Nima Barker?
Depending on the negotiation that we undertake.
Right. So I've been following the situation there, and I'm looking at their policy agenda for change. And for you who've been advocating for many years for that social injustice in Liberia, to have a better Liberia that everyone is equal, is that in line with your policy with Mr. Joseph Nima Barker? Will he change towards your ideology?
The political community is heterogeneous. And because of the intervening years of war and other intervening circumstances, it has become difficult for the progressive movement to succeed to take state power as a monolithic force, as a homogeneous force. So there's need for negotiation on the way forward. But that negotiation has to revolve around an agenda that is in the best interest of the Liberian people. And we are on the table.
So I would say there's another progressive that's intent to run and have put his hand in the ring. Tawan Gongo, why don't you have a alliance with him?
I very much respect Tawan, but I do know that the progressive community itself, in some ways, have been scattered along the line. Tawan supported the Unity Party before and supported Ellie's government, right? He was part of it.
Yeah, but is there anything about the progressives that they cannot support a particular party?
Let me say this. The culture of the progressive movement
internet glitches. Well, bear with us, folks. So the Prof is having some glitches there. We hope you get connected. Yes?
Are you hearing me?
Actually, there was a break in transmission. So if you just repeat what you said.
That the progressive community has a culture of criticism and self-criticism. But I will never engage in deep criticism of the progressive community in the public domain. Why?
Good.
Because blind loyalists, surrogates of the system that we're fighting, will distort the meaning of what we're trying to convey. I do know that there are efforts for the progressive community to come together. I do know that negotiations are taking place also within the progressive community itself, but that's not for public discussion.
Okay, but wait, Prof. Your public outcry, your public advocacy in recent times seems to be an attempt to rejuvenate the progressive ideologies from the late 70s coming to the 80s and 90s and to now. Are you trying to rejuvenate? Are you trying to resuscitate your organization? In any sense?
It is our responsibility to give attention to the task before Liberia today. We cannot abandon this task because it's very critical.
But at the same time, some of you are aligning yourselves with political parties and even working for some governments. How do you compromise that?
We are not the only ones in Liberia. We are part of Liberia.
Yeah, but
we cannot ignore the fight. We cannot ignore the fact that they are liberals, they are conservatives, and they are progressives. What we are striving to do is to ensure that the progressive agenda is giving attention as well.
okay, let's take it this way. A new formation is coming, or according to Alaric Tokpa, this new formation comes. Alaric Tokpa is one top guy in this new formation, and this new formation is now working the way it's supposed to work for the Liberian people. Okay, how does Alaric Tokpa fight his own system that he formed and he's working in?
I do know that it's not very easily possible for progressive communities to enter a very weak, reactionary, conservative administration and change them from within. That is why we are on the table to formulate the policies and strategies that will go into this new formation.
Is it not will be too late because you got barely 17 months left for the election? When would you have time for all that?
Can you categorize for me the forces that you see in the political field, because you have more details than I do?
No, what I'm saying, isn't that late because you talk about the alliance that you're building and the policy to come up with, and you got barely 17 months left for the election to have that in place and to inform or educate the people that this is the way forward. Will that happen within the next 16 or 17 months?
I appreciate your concerns, but we have time.
Okay, Prof, let me ask you one question. We got a video we'll play for you, or we got a video we'll play and we'll discuss that video. But let me ask you this question. It's very strategic. In the CPP, though he said the CPP has crumbled, okay, correct? But in the CPP, or right now, you got two political parties in court, the ANC and the All Liberal Party in court for forgery case. Then you got the United Party and the ANC also in court, along with the Liberty Party in court for some contract document. Now, as a political analyst, do you think this is actually feasible? Should any of the parties be taking the other one to court at all? For anything, for any reason?
I've not been very interested in interfering with the internal affairs of other political parties.
You are not interfering. I just want to get your view.
As far as I'm concerned, the court matter delays the campaign in opposition, the weakness of opposition, the undermines the opposition, and every attempt should be made to bring it to a halt.
And how can we make that attempt? I mean, who should make the attempt? The public, the people, or the political parties involved, or the general public? What would you suggest?
Who are those that get involved in court cases? There are plaintiffs and there are defendants.
Okay, fair enough. Let's listen to this video from you, Prof, and we will all discuss it together.
Let it be clear, therefore, that the crisis in opposition is not the basis for a determination on the part of this society to allow the CDC government, Mr. Weir, to continue in power after the elections of 2023. South. Political processes require and should encourage compromises. What we suggest in the progressive community is that compromises should not be selfish. Compromises should be in the interest of the country and the people of the country. Sure. There's absolutely no reason why former allies who decided to come together can be so angry with each other that they cannot sit down on a negotiation table and reach some reasonable compromises.
Tell them.
It is possible to have a third way or to have other ways between contradictory possibilities. For instance, there's absolutely nothing wrong with encouraging Ambassador Joseph Boakai and Honorable Cummings to run in the 2023 election as separate political leaders. At the same time, it is not impossible for such leaders to sit down and decide that in the interest of country, in the spirit of the original collaboration that brought them together, if there should ever be a second round of election, then their support should go in a mutually complementary way, that their support should never go outside of their original understandings, such as in the direction of Mr. Weir. So, because we have to move the vote away from the CDC government of George Weir, we have to move the vote in the way of sanity.
Okay, Prof, this was your video, and I cue a few things from there. You seem to care for the Liberian people so much, and the problems with Liberia, and you see that in whatever situation, no matter what, all the folks should not go the way of President Weir. But at the same time, the same people that was supposed to be a formidable force have already broken apart. Have you personally thought, as somebody who could probably try to mend the fence, have you made any attempt like that or ever thought about that?
Yes, I have. But it has not worked so far.
Who refused to work with you?
I will not discuss the details here on public radio or television.
Okay. Thank you. Fair enough. But have you dropped all hopes at this point and thinking about forming a new formation?
Politics, it is said, is an art of the possible. We have to remain hopeful. Anything is possible.
So all hopes are not dashed.
Sorry?
All hopes are not dashed.
They shouldn't. The bear in mind is the Liberian people have their
Yeah. But if you say all things are possible, but at the same time you think about forming a new formation. I don't know what you're going to call it though. So how do you? What are
we
you
are
doing?
leaving nothing to chance. We are leaving nothing. We are leaving nothing to
There's
chance.
nothing more to work with. Yeah. So you
We
gotta
can leave
something
nothing to
new.
chance. We shouldn't leave anything to chance. We should not leave anything to chance.
Paul, you are muted.
The leaders of the disintegrated CPP are not the only political actors in Liberia. If we humble ourselves to just suggest the need to come together with others and move Liberia forward, it doesn't mean that we cannot take independent actions politically. But it is only in the interest of the country that we have to humble ourselves and allow other forces and avoid extremism. In short, what I'm trying to say is that extremism of any kind can become counterproductive.
Yeah, Paul, you want to come on?
I just want to say something. Professor, with all of this infighting within the collaboration, the biggest collaboration, the CPP, with the bad blood have been spilled, will you think forming alliances with any of them is now opportunity that they have done George Weir a favor for his second term in office by collaborating with the government to prosecute another opposition?
That is one interpretation.
Well, that's what is unfolding in our eyes now, that we're all seeing what's happening. And the person you support just yesterday in court said he didn't know his friend that he knew for 40 years. Somebody that have that lie on an oath, and that person going to be president tomorrow. Isn't that speak volume?
I'm not interested in discussing internal affairs of other parties, but let me say this to you. Politically, you can know who somebody is. You can know who somebody is, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you know what the person is. And I'm not interfering with their code matter because I'm not interested in that drama in the code. But I'm saying that politically, you can know who somebody is. For instance, I know who George Weah is, but I do not know what he is. He's a strange enemy in political field in Liberia.
Okay.
Okay. Our time is fast spent, Prof. We hope we didn't drag you from your comfort zone, but it was also good that you honor our.
Until Liberia is free, until the killing of our young ones come to an end, I have no comfort zone.
Okay. And guess what? We're going to be on your back every time. When something pops up, we're going to bring you here. And this is not the last time you're coming here until you can come up with that new formation. And even when you come up with that new formation, you come here to explain to the Liberian people why Professor Alaric Tokpa will have to accept a new formation when there were formations on the ground that he would have supported to, no matter how bad they were, he would have supported to make them look better, but he decided to leave all of them like you were living in your house. The winking and blue one piece of the scene, or then you abandon our house, then you say you're going to build a new house. So you have to come by here to explain to us again why you formed.
Thank you. But when the new formation is organized, your language will change. It'll be rather, why does Alaric Tokpa have to lead? They bring it together of the new formation.
So you're going to influence my language, right?
I'm hoping that this is partly answering the concern of my daughter.
Yeah.
That the papa will not get the hanger on.
So
we read the process.
Okay, but you know, from your first statement, I'm a little bit, I'm feeling like the question is like, but why will Professor get on the side of Bwaka? Why? Because
he just answered the question. He's going to lead our group. He just said
so. He's not an extremist.
Okay, I reserve my comment until then.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor. It was an honor having you on the show today.
And we stay await your visit in London, and we'll be looking forward to the new alliance when you meet, so we can have a discussion.
You can
and quickly, Prof, I don't know. Prof, I don't know if there's anything we didn't touch that you really personally wanted to touch. We just gave you 1 minute in your closing statement. If there is anything that you probably wanted like people to know that we didn't ask you, or you want to.
There is a challenge. That there is a challenge before the new generation to save their own future.
Yeah.
To stand behind well-meaning Liberians, like us, and reclaim their birthright. You have a national budget that is not in the interest of protecting or promoting their future. This has to change. The only way in which that will change is for us to reconstruct the mentality of the new people through the efforts of a new administration that will move them away from the exclusive interest or the love for money. Because if you love money so much that you make it your focus in life, you always pursue wealth, but you'll never get enough. And that will be your destruction. And a way to liberate themselves and take care of protecting, defending, and promoting the future of their children and children unborn is to remember the wise words of Joseph Mbwaka, former Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. Think Liberia, love Liberia, build Liberia, So the struggle continues.
No, we don't accept that ideology of deception.
No. Andre, you have to respect. This is a democracy. You have to respect.
No, for me, I don't accept that, Professor.
You don't have to accept it. You don't have to accept it. This is democracy. Okay. Now we
whatever leave for that is deception. Thing Liberia, Bill Liberia, and blah, blah, blah. That's deception.
Okay.
So
Professor,
the person that is coming from is totally a dishonest person. He's not thinking Liberia. He's thinking himself.
We have to. This is democracy. You know, you're free to say anything, but you got to be held responsible for what you say. You're free to do things. You got to be held responsible for your actions.
I'm held responsible for whatever I say on this.
I also respect that.
That slogan is a complete deception.
Okay.
Complete deception.
I also respect that.
Yeah. So, Prof, we'll be looking forward to seeing you in the future. It was great to have you on the program, and it shouldn't be the last time. Hope to see you again, interact with you. He's frozen.
He's frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen. Okay, but probably he's hearing us in the background. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Professor Alaric Tokpa, and he's been throwing light on some of the things happening in Liberia and his own personal views. And he also mentioned they are working. I don't know when you say we. I don't know who are the we.
They are working.
They are working on the formation of a new structure that, according to him, will draft a national agenda, development agenda for Liberia, and they will have national democratic fronts at the national level in all countries and stuff like that. But until we can reach that point where that new structure is formed, we don't really know the details of it. But we want to say thank you very much, and for those of you who are watching us, thanks for being with us. And we
can I make a quick announcement? And
we'll make an announcement. Let's
follow us on Bottom Line by clicking follow. So anytime we come out, it's automatically a light then that will on. So that's what I wanted to say.
Okay.
And the platform is open. Whether you United Party, CDC supporter come, we have a conversation here. It's all about Mama Liberia, and we serve is to know who is who. We know that. I know that Joseph Boakai, the former vice president, will now run. He's in agreement with the CPP document. He may go as independent. That case will haunt him. He will now run. So the alliance that they're building, it will be an independent alliance for Joseph Boakai alone, not the United Party, because they stay in a collaboration. Wherever happen in court, there's another court going to the Supreme Court that United Party will not feed candidate until they stay with the collaboration. They signed, they had an admitment, they agree, they had a consensus on this, they put a document together, they craft it together, they put it is in there. If they decide to go there, it means Joseph Boakai will now run on United Party ticket. And that is the bottom line of all this. They withdraw
of the formation of the new alliance.
That new alliance will be Alaric, Joseph Boakai, but not United Party, because they stay in the collaboration. In that case, it will be decided upon the Supreme Court pretty soon.
Yeah.
Well, so let's say thank you, Paul and Andre. It was great, and we hope that next week we can find some guests. If not, we come and discuss as usual. Thanks, John Mablo, Celestine, Sibe, and the rest of you, Yakwa Bowman. Fokwa Muri asked me whether I have control over what people say to my father. I don't have control over what people say to my father, but I can react to what people say to my father. That's the difference. I can't control what people will say, but I can react to what people will say. So, thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. And have a very pleasant midweek tomorrow. Tomorrow is what? Wednesday?
Yeah, and I'll be on Saturday with another person called Mr. God Vamaga. He ran to be he ran for senatorial post 2017, and he was Samuel Johnson beating in that election. He will be appearing on Bottom Line on Saturday.
Okay.
So we'll have a day, and he knows the terrain, and he'll be giving us some advice. So we'll have it on Saturday on Bottom Line. So having said that, it was good conversation, guys, and we meet next Tuesday, and on Saturday, tune in. It will be fascinating as well.
Okay. So this is how I would like to leave you.
Come on, let them say ya. Come on, let them say ya. That in my business, you catching fever. Getting serious like empty river. Ain't no stopping by the river.